I'm very happy that I got this opportunity to present my paper on history of Karnataka from Mauryas till Kadambas. I will be, in short, going to some important facts which are, connecting us from Mauryas till, Kadambas. I think all of us know very well, as it is well known in the history, that Karnataka, before the rise of Kadambas itself, was well known as Kuntala Desha, Kuntala Nadu. It is called as Kuntala Desha or Kuntala Nadu. And Kuntala Nadu, according to inscriptions, is parts of Western Deccan and major part of northern Mysore region. And we also come to know very clearly that, as tradition says, that the Nandas had control over what we today call as Kuntala Nadu, and the Nandas ruled over Kuntala Nadu, and the control of Kuntala Nadu actually happened during the time of Bimbisara and Ajatashatru. And it is they who maintained, and later it was succeeded by the followers of Bimbisara and Ajatashatru. However, when the Nanda dynasty was overthrown, the Mauryas came to power, and what we call as Kuntala Nadu also came under the control of the Mauryas. And the next important point that all of us know as students of Karnataka history, which the tradition says that the Mauryan founder Chandragupta Maurya, he came to Shravanabelagola and he stayed here, and he came with his Jaina teacher, preceptor Bhadrabahu, and he did not come here to rule. He abdicated his throne and he wanted to spend his last years doing prayer, and he wanted to do Sallekana here. And we come to know from the inscriptions and also from the tradition that both Bhadrabahu and the last ruler, all of them, they had all their important time spent here spreading Jaina religion according to the records of Shravanabelagola. An inscription of the Sorabad Taluk says very clearly that Chandragupta Maurya, he protected Nagarakanda. To protect Nagarakanda, he used the most powerful Kshatriyas who were under his control and who were here in southern region. And we also have another important view saying that Chandragupta Maurya, whom we are talking of, who came with Bhadrabahu, is not the Chandragupta of the founder of Mauryan dynasty. He is also recognized as Samprati Chandragupta. This is the other view which is existing according to the historical records. And now we need to understand, after the decline of Chandragupta Maurya, we have another connecting point from Chandragupta Maurya in Karnataka is the edicts of Ashoka. When we see the edicts of Ashoka, particularly the edicts of Ashoka found in Siddhapura, which is a part of Mysore territory, we come to know that our Mysore, what we call as Mysuru today, was Mahisha Mandala of the Ashokan emperor. Therefore, when the empire was extended until Mahisha Mandala or Mysuru, we come to know very clearly that Ashoka directly ruled over what we today call as Mahisha Mandala. There is a very clear clarification which we understand from the inscriptions of Ashoka, that Ashoka waged only one important war, a great expedition, and that expedition was the expedition of Kalinga, which happened there in Kalinga. Then what about Mysuru or Mahisha Mandala? From this we come to know that before Ashoka becoming the ruler, before the civil war of Ashoka, Kalinga was not a part of Ashokan kingdom, but Mahisha Mandala was an integral part of his kingdom or the Mauryan empire. We all know that Ashoka died in 232 BC. And after the death of Ashoka, we see the decline, the breakup of the Mauryan Empire. And after the breakup, we come to know that within half a century, within 50 years, the final destruction took place. And after the destruction, we see, when we study the emergence of Satavahanas, the scattered remnants of the Mauryan Empire were put together. They were formed as a geographical local unit, and Satavahana started ruling over that region. Therefore, in South India, southern part of India, the Satavahanas who were there spread in different parts, they started ruling in this region. And after the Satavahanas, we come to know that the Chutu family became the masters of this region, which we recognize as, Kuntala Nadu. It is often seen in the inscriptions very clearly that Kuntala Nadu was ruled by Chutus, and Chutus called themselves as Satavahanas. The inscriptions say that the Chutu Satavahana kingdom. And when we see the inscription at Malavalli, which is there in Shikaripura district, we come to know about Hariti Putra Satakarni, about whom today morning Munreddy sir, he spoke a lot about, Muniratnam sir, who spoke a lot about it. Okay, it is the Hariti Putra Satakarni of the Manavya Gotra, who is recognized as the king of Vaijayantipura or king of Banavasi. And when we see this particular inscription, we come to know two important points, that this particular inscription says that the region of Chutu Empire was a region within the Kuntala Nadu or Kuntala Desha, and he appoints a chief revenue commissioner, and he also gives a grant. And it is very clearly told that the chief revenue commissioner is recognized in the inscription as Mahavallabham Rajjukam. Mahavallabham Rajjukam is the chief commissioner of the period of the Chutus. And when we see the Banavasi inscription also belongs to Hariti Putra Satakarni. When we see the Banavasi inscription, it very clearly says that Chutus, particularly Hariti Putra Satakarni, had a daughter, and this lady, the daughter of Hariti Putra Satakarni, she gave a grant. Her name is Shivaskanda Nagashri. Most of them, they belonged to what we call as the Naga clan, or they worshipped Naga cult. Therefore, she is recognized as Mahabhoji Shivakanda Nagashri, and who makes a grant of a Naga and also a tank and a vihara. The Naga slab, or what we call as Nagara Kallu, is today available in the Prakaram of Madhukeshwara temple at Banavasi. We may infer from the two inscriptions, that is from the inscription of Malavalli and from the inscription of Banavasi, which very clearly talks about Vaijayantipura, about Jayantipura, about Banavasi, that it was the capital of the Chutu family. Means Banavasi was recognized as the capital of the Chutu family. And this opinion was also supported by what we call as the two important chronicles of Ceylon, which is Mahavamsha and Deepavamsha. Mahavamsha and Deepavamsha, they mention about a Buddhist teacher, Rakkita, who was deputed to teach Dhamma, the principles of Dhamma, in Banavasi. He comes from Pataliputra. He was commissioned by Ashoka, and he was teaching Dhamma here in Banavasi. And it is after the Pataliputra, that is the great council Mahadiveshana at Pataliputra in the 18th regnal year of Ashoka, we come to know very clearly that there was a continuous interaction between the Mauryan kingdom, particularly from Ashoka to Banavasi to Kuntala Desha. And we also come to know that in Banavasi there was a large congregation of Buddhist monks, and also Ashoka continuously sends few Mahamatras just to preach Dhamma, the principles of Dhamma here. And it is very clearly given in the inscriptions of Ashoka that I have sent Yuktas, Rajukas and Pradeshikas to teach Dhamma, a complete tour which he recognizes as Dhamma Mahayatra, to what we today call as Kuntala Desha, and particularly to Banavasi. And here he gives instruction saying that you should follow my order and you should preach this teaching of Buddha, or what we call as Dhamma, principles of Dhamma, to all. And he has appointed many hundred thousands of men, and they come here, they devote all their life to teach Dhamma Mahamantras. They teach what we call as the principles of Dhamma. Therefore, all these people put together are also recognized as Dhamma Mahamantras. Means they are the Yuktas, the Rajukas, the Pradeshikas, and the Lajukas. All these people who are the officers of Ashoka, who are here to preach the principles of Dhamma, which again clearly tells that there was a connection between the Mauryan kingdom and what we today call as Kuntala Desha, are a part of what we recognize as southern India. Now we have to come to the next important point, that is, who ruled after the Mauryas. King Satavahana of Malavalli, and what we see as the Malavalli inscription and what we see in the Banavasi inscription clearly tells that Banavasi was a very great, very glorious center of many kinds of activities, which I am going to tell. Okay, and in the Talagunda inscription of Kadamba mentions about a Shiva temple which was there in Banavasi, and it is very clear that Satakarni and other rulers of that particular dynasty, they used to come here to worship the Shiva temple which is there in Banavasi. The Satavahanas are always or many times described as Andhras, and when we study the works of Pliny or when we study the works of Ptolemy, we come to know that these Andhras are people who ruled major parts of today's Andhra Pradesh until Nasik. The Chutu Satavahanas were succeeded by the Pallavas, and we have to understand that this was a very important political event which took place in South India, and Mayuravarma, who captured the Pallavas, when he captured the Pallavas, this region came under the rule of Pallavas. And when we talk of Pallavas, we need to understand very clearly that the Pallava king Vishnugopa was the contemporary of Samudragupta, the Gupta ruler, and it is mentioned in Allahabad pillar inscription that the last important ruler, that is the Pallava Vishnugopa, was completely defeated by Samudragupta. This led to the decline of Pallava kingdom, and it brings to the beginning of a very great important dynasty about which we are talking today, that is the Kadamba dynasty. That is the relationship, the continuity from Mauryas till Kadambas. This is what I was supposed to tell in my paper. The title of the paper is From Mauryas till Kadambas. I think all the political important aspects based on the epigraphical inscriptions I have mentioned. I want to talk about 4 important inscriptions. When we see the inscriptions of Shravanabelagola, inscription number 1, 17, 54, 40 and 108, all of them talk about or mention about, Chandragupta Maurya coming here with Bhadrabahu and staying here, and also mentions about Sallekana. And another important thing which I need to talk is about the inscriptions of Malavalli and also the inscriptions of Banavasi, which talk about, Hariti Putra, whom, Sir spoke in the morning. And now we have to go and see what are the other aspects which I am going to present in today's paper. The other important aspects that I am going to present in today's paper, which are linkages, which link us, is what kind of administrative divisions were there during the time of Satavahanas and during the time of Mauryas until Kadambas. The second important topic that I have to tell is what is it that we have yielded, what is it that we have got when archaeological excavations took place in this part of Kuntala Nadu. Third important topic is what are the rich material sources that were available. We women, we want to know whether gold was available, whether any ornament was available there. And the fourth important point which I need to tell you is that what we call Banavasi was very well known to Karnataka, Kuntala Nadu, much before the emergence, what we call as the Kadamba dynasty. Therefore, we will go to the slides. Hope, I think I have connected the political aspects of this. From the point of view of today's study, that is, the second minor rock edict of Ashoka, it mentions very clearly about what was Kuntala Desha, or what was the region which was under the control of Ashoka, the Mauryan ruler. It mentions Choda, Pandya, Kerala Putta, Tamraparni, Satya Putta as his neighboring kingdoms, which means very clearly that Karnataka was a part, or Kuntala Nadu was a part of his kingdom. Secondly, it mentions about Kerala Putra, also mentions as Kerala Putta as Kerala Putra, and Sahya Putra as Satya Putra. Dr. K.V. Ramesh sir tells very clearly that Sahya Putras were also called as Satya Putras. These Sahya Putras were people who belonged to the region of North Canara and South Canara. Okay, and then the third important point, the four important administrative units under Ashoka, which are mentioned according to the inscriptions of Ashoka, are Mahisha Mandala, Banavasi Mandala, Satya Putta, and Suvarnagiri. I think Suvarnagiri was also the capital at that time. In this, we come to know that in the Nasik inscription of Gautami Putra Shatakarni, that is in the 2nd century AD, we come to know about these particular administrative units. They are Malayadri, Kuntala, Sahyadri under the direct control of Satavahanas. We come to know that many of these parts were also under the control of Mauryas. Now it is under the control of Satavahanas. The scattered remnants of Mauryan Empire in the south were controlled by Satavahanas. Later, the Chutu dynasty started ruling Kuntala Nadu, and the grant of Haritiputra Satakarni, the king of Vaijayanti of Manavya Gotra, it is mentioned in the Shikaripura inscription. By all these things, we come to know that these parts were the most important administrative units of Satavahanas and Chutus. Chutus called themselves as Satavahanas. The Naga slab, there are two things which I need to tell. The Kadambas call themselves as people who followed the Naga cult. The inscription of Haritiputra Satakarni is at Banavasi. It is in Madhukeshwara temple. Records that Satakarni had a daughter, Maha, which I told, and the Naga slab is now in the Prakara of Madhukeshwara temple, and Devagiri plates of Kadamba Krishnavarma I. They say that he belongs to the family of Nagas. According to the inscriptions of Devagiri, we come to know that they belong to the family of Nagas. And then a Naga slab Torsi, this is now there in the temple premises. Then I have to talk about the kind of pottery which was available here. When we see the kind of pottery which was available here, when excavations were conducted here, we come to know that the pottery constitutes the largest bulk revealed from the excavation. The range of technology, typology, fabrics and shapes is quite immense. And there is what we available is black and red ware of megalithic fabric, the russet coated painted ware, the red ware of all fabrics, fine slip etc., black polished slipped ware, there is grey ware and also red slipped ware, northern black polished ware. These are the different kinds of pottery which is available, and this information I have gathered from the article of Sundara sir. Okay, it's important for us to talk about the technological advancement which happened in this particular region, what we call as the Kuntala Desha. When we see the technological, because that is also very important, we need to see the kind of technological advancement which happened from Mauryas till Kadambas. When we see this, we come to know, so far as the archaeology of the early historic period is concerned, practically nothing was known till Mortimer Wheeler excavated at Arikamedu and at Brahmagiri. Then we come to know after the excavations of Sundara sir that the acquaintance with an extensive use of iron led to the exploitation of considerably rich deposits of iron ore in Andhra Pradesh, in Karnataka and in Tamil Nadu, that is the Andhra Bhojas, and the people of Karnataka and the people of Tamil Nadu, all of them knew the usage of iron technology. This resulted in the knowledge of mining and metallurgy, which made all the difference in their lives, and it was one of the industrious industries that engaged and provided food to quite a large section of society, because they started using, iron plow, which helped them to cultivate more. The usage of large-sized stones in the construction of grave monuments also mark a stage in the technological development. Again, this aspect I have taken from the article of Sundara sir. Yesterday, I read the articles of my teacher, Dr. M.S. Krishnamurthy, which helped me to understand what kind of richest materials and things were available in that region. The largest and the richest of the materials comprise of various objects that form part of ornaments and jewelry. Even when the excavation at Rajagatta happened, Talakadu happened, we were searching whether we get anything. Okay, these consist of jewelry, complete ornaments and general ornaments of some pieces. And we have also got gold there, copper, bronze, semi-precious stones, amethyst, crystal, garnet, lapis lazuli, and soapstone, coral, shell, glass, terracotta. The type of ornaments include ear studs, rings, pendants, necklaces, hairpins, clips, bangles, armlets, anklets, and finger rings, and so on. This is from the report of Archaeological Survey of India. Okay, and I need to talk about two more things. One is about the arts and crafts which were available in this region after the excavation. There are different kinds of arts and crafts which are available. We have toys, model toy carts, wheels, medallions, some of the finest terracotta human and animal figurines, and we also have these things which were available from Brahmagiri, Maski, and Sannati. Some of them are of very high quality, superior workmanship. Again, this is based on the reports of ASI. And the important sites which were excavated in this region in Kuntala, that is Banavasi, Brahmagiri, Chandravalli, Hemmige, Tekkalakote, T. Narsipura, and Maski. I also want to tell certain things which are very important for us, that when we come to know, or when we understand the origin of Kadamba dynasty, much before the origin of Kadamba dynasty, what we today call as Kuntala Nadu or parts of Karnataka was well known to the people of Mauryas, to the people of Satavahanas, and also for the people of Chutus. Therefore, Banavasi did not emerge all of a sudden. Banavasi was very well known much before the period of Kadambas. And I want to end it up with this. Thank you so much.